Okay, here's my intro. Maybe the only time you'll ever see me on camera, I don't know yet. If I can make AI make videos for me, I'll do that. I'm not particularly fond of being on camera. I'm not that good at it. But my point in this channel is to help guide those beginner traders out there that are looking to YouTube for your education. You're tired of the grind from 9 to 5. You think that a job is not what you were put here to do. That's what I thought. So if you felt like you're one tweak away from finally figuring out your trading, then this is for you. In this intro, I want to describe, finding the latest new thing, indicator hopping, inconsistency, to building my own tools, and why I created PulseEdge trading tools in this channel. Before we dive in, quick but important note, in case you guys didn't know, nothing in this video is financial advice. Nothing on this channel will ever be financial advice. I'm going to talk about futures and indicators and strategies and my own experience. This is educational and informational only. Futures and Forex trading involve risk and are not suitable for every investor. And I've thought they're not suitable for me many times. You're responsible for your own trading decisions, and I can't say that enough. Alright, so with that gone, let me tell you who I am and why. I've been writing code since the 80s. I mastered that. I was a senior developer for many years. Of course, the more you do, the more they want. And eventually I got super burned out of corporate America, and I burned many bridges on my way out, which is my own fault. But quite honestly, I aged out of, as you can tell from this ancient face you're looking at, I aged out of the young man's game. And since I didn't really want to play it anyway, I had already been trading on the side for a while. The trouble is that I really do like writing code, and so every time that I would discover the latest guy on YouTube, I would look at his rules, and as soon as you hand me rules, I can write code. And unfortunately, that's maybe not the best thing. So I got curious about the markets. I saw that if you were diligent and you were committed to being the 5% who make it in this game, that you could truly have a lifestyle that, we're not talking Maseratis. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about making money that allows you to do what you want to go do and not being time constrained to giving 40 plus hours of your life away every week. And of course, the day trading rules are changing right now, but when I got started, it was 25 grand, and I just didn't have the funds to do that. And so I've got into prop firms and passing those challenges, and I've passed many of them, 8 to 10 currently. But I'm looking for something that is consistently profitable, and I think I'm finally on that path. But I'm going to share with you I wrote at this point hundreds of indicators and tens or dozens of strategies, thinking that if rules worked and they were mechanical, then the strategy ought to be able to make you money. Unfortunately, the problem with that is the markets change underneath your strategy, and your rules will be absolutely correct, but kill you in whatever market you're trading, and there's an insight there. Maybe we'll get to it at the back. You know, I'd find indicators, or I'd come across a system, and I'd stick to those rules, and unfortunately it would, you know, those rules weren't compatible with, say, a prop account rule. And I've blown so many accounts, so many. So rules are completely necessary. You need to track. If you're not journaling, I'm part of my software is that it auto journals for you. One of my products journals into a CSV, so you can really track your trading. And my biggest struggle right now, my biggest struggle was consistency and revenge trading, and now my biggest struggle is holding trades that are winning, and I'm working on that. There are days when I follow my plan and days where I don't, and I'd always be saying, you know, this is not working, and jump ship, and that's really not what the problem was. So I started thinking in terms of R multiples, and, you know, what phase is the market actually in? How do we, you know, what actually moves the market? You know, and you know, let's start with, should I be trading right now? Instead of getting in some place that has all the chop in the world and you're going to get killed, why not wait until you have some clear indicators, some clear indications that now the price might actually move, and it might actually conform to a rule-based set? Because a lot of times when the market is ranging, there, you know, all the bets are off, and you don't know exactly when it's going to come out of that. So NinjaTrader allows me to build whatever I want in C#. That was my forte anyway, so it was a natural progression. I've written some in Quantower, but Quantower is very difficult to write code for because their documentation doesn't usually reflect where they're at right now. They don't update their documentation to keep track, to keep up with their platform. So NinjaTrader just makes it easy, and NinjaTrader has a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't even use, like Market Analyzer, for instance. You can write code against that and scan 5 or 6 or 10, you know, whatever you want to add, however many instruments you want to trade, which I think you should only be down to 1, maybe 2, but so where I've gotten to after all of that, you know, I have the whole ICT suite. I did all of his training, you know, a year's worth of his training. I watched every one of them and wrote that code, and I have that strategy. I have those indicators. Trades by Matt, you know, the wick test setup, I have that indicator for NinjaTrader. I have volume profiles. Now granted, you do have to have tick replay on for them to work, which maybe means you have to have a lifetime license, but both visible range, you know, what's on the chart, and also a configurable range. Say for instance, if you want to catch just one move and look at where the volume was in that one move, it's really quite interesting. And literally everything between there, the things that NinjaTrader doesn't come with, like a price line that goes across the chart where the current price is. Super handy, and something that is not included in the current and hasn't been ever in NinjaTrader. So there's got to be some mix between discretion and black box algorithms, which a lot of people are selling, and they may or may not work long term. Doesn't matter after they get your money, does it? So I created PulseEdge Trading to share the indicators and strategies that I actually use in my own trading, to show the process. Sometimes I show the process. A lot of them are self-explanatory, like what you see on the screen right now is a strategy for Bill Williams' Profittunity. So there's the alligator and the fractals, and the strategy's actually running, and his concepts kind of led to all of what we do now as technical indicator-based traders. His analysis, he was the first one to use a supercomputer and point it at the markets, and so a lot of them some of that I took and modernized. There's something better than the AO, and I use ChatGPT. I have a subscription to it, and I ask it to explain the concepts behind it, and maybe apply an update based on modern technologies. And it's sometimes ChatGPT is just smoking crack. Sometimes it comes out with something really cool. I hope that whatever system you're trading, I have built an indicator that will help you. If you want to talk about prop firms and how they work and what they're good for, maybe I'll get a little more in depth on that. But the short answer is, if you don't have the funds to trade your own funds, then they have what I would call an asymmetric funding model, right? You pay $30 to be able to trade a $3,000 equity. It says 50K account, but your drawdown is not 50K. Your drawdown is 2K on that 50K, so you actually have a $2,000 account. Even so, that's better than the $30 that you paid. Of course, I'm talking about Apex here. Most of the time they're at $30, sometimes cheaper, and they're not the only one in the space. There's been a lot of prop firms come along lately that are really good and reputable, and I think Apex is reputable. But you got those people who come along and try to game the system, and it causes havoc behind the scenes. If I owned Apex and somebody came along and passed in one day and then made a $10,000 trade the next day and wanted to pay out, and there's no way for me to capitalize on either copying his trades because he's not been there long enough, or that his risk to reward, and there was no consistency to his profits. So I think that's where people get confused about Apex. So that sounds interesting to you. There'll be a link in the description to my tools. The first ones that I put up on the website are kind of a proprietary method. I linked the original video that had the idea for the strategy, and I built all the indicators, and then I built the strategy that uses those indicators. So if that sounds interesting to you, thanks for watching, and Welcome to PulseEdge Trading.